And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the PondCast, episode 59. We just wrapped up with our news, with our topics of the week, and now we're here with tournament results. Here we go. As always, we've had so many tournaments taking place this week in StarCraft and in other adjacent StarCraft events as well, with modded tournaments, and that's what we're jumping into first. StarCraft Evolution results. We have the CranKy Epic series, which we did cover here on the channel a couple of days ago. We were actually making reference to this series when going over the patch notes, but we have a show match best of 9 between Tasia and Classic. If you missed it, we did cast it here on the channel alongside CranKy in Spanish and the SCC in Korean. So again, we did cover this event. It was a 5-0 in favor of Classic. Classic, I mean, for those who are unaware, I should also mention this. Tasia, if you didn't know, he is back. He is back to competing, has been back for over a month at this point. For over a month, has been back in StarCraft Evolution. Not in StarCraft 2. Not in StarCraft 2, only in StarCraft Evolution. And honestly, he's looking really good. He's looking really good. He's looking really in form. I would say he's around the upper echelons of Terran players in StarCraft Evolution. I would place Bjorn ahead of him. I think I might place Kiwin ahead of him as well. Maybe I haven't seen enough Spirit as of late. So, but maybe, yeah. Maybe Kiwi and above, and I place him around the level of Dice, of Honmono, of Bratok as well. Like, he's kind of in the middle to upper echelons of the Terran players out there. But Classic is the best. He's the best of the best. You can make an argument that right now, Classic, he is the best Protoss player in StarCraft 2 and in StarCraft Evolution. He did have higher placement compared to Hero, for example. Again, I did say you can make an argument because you could also make an argument for Hero as well, for being the best in both SC Evo and StarCraft 2, so you can make an argument for either one, but regardless, he is arguably the best Protoss player you can have. And CranKy was brutal, throwing Tasia at Classic. So Classic, he had a very dominant performance. We expected him to be the favorite player here. I will say that if you missed out on the games, I do recommend them because we had some really close games. Even though the scoreline is 5-0, Blue Storm was a banger. Blue Storm, for me, was the highlight of the event, of the show match. Likewise, we had some really close matches on some of the other maps as well. So I do recommend it. It's a lot of fun, especially if you are a Tasia fan from back in the day. If you want to see some more Tasia action, he wasn't looking bad at all, despite the scoreline. Meanwhile, that leads us into the StarCraft Evolution League Masters number 5, Korea versus Russia. This was a bit of a nation war show match, pitting Koreans against Russians. I would say that these are the two biggest nations right now in StarCraft Evolution. I think it's the case in Brood War as well, by the way. Like, when it comes to the foreigners out there, I know there's a big Russian Brood War scene as well, and also a Latin American one. But for whatever reason, I would say that these are the two biggest nations right now in StarCraft Evolution. Russia and Korea. And we had our two respective teams. We had Bratok, Midovik, and Wayne for Team Russia. Meanwhile, for Team Korea, we had Creator, Gumiho, and Kiwian, TOP. Now, I'll be honest, I have not actually seen Gumiho in StarCraft Evolution. I do know that he's a part of this season's championship, but I don't know what his level is. So I don't know I don't know how I can rate Gumiho. Meanwhile, it looks like all kill format. Looks like it was all wheel format. Wayne took down Kiwian 1-0, took down Gumiho 1-0, and then Creator popped off. Now, we did actually go over some of Creator's results recently, and Creator has been actually getting some really good results in StarCraft Evolution. He takes on Wayne, takes on Bratok, he falls to Midovik, then he wins in the rematch, and then we have the revival match that Creator does win as well. So again, old school kind of WTL all kill format. Really cool to see. Wayne beat Creator towards the end there, and again, congratulations to Wayne, as it went all the way to the ace match, went all the way to that revival match, with Wayne and Creator going the distance, with Russia and Korea going the distance. In the end, did go the way of Team Russia. Congratulations to the foreigners for taking down Korea. Now, you could make an argument, of course, that this wasn't the strongest Korean team. As just mentioned, I don't know how I would rate Gumiho, and really this just turned into Creator versus Russia. Is what this turned into. But I don't know where to place Gumiho amongst the other Terran players. I think I'd place him relatively low just because of the inexperience that Gumiho has had. But really cool to see him taking part in the show match regardless. This is an event that we have not covered yet. It was covered by Steadfast, covered by Kiwian, covered by CranKy, and some of the others. We might go over some of the replays ourselves instead if we ever have some free time. I mentioned earlier that right now we're missing a lot of StarCraft Evolution just because our schedule just didn't have the room for it, and moving forward I think that's going to continue to be the case as well, just because of everything else around the corner of Revival, StarCraft League, and Maestros of the game. We'll do our best, though. We'll do our best. I would love to get my hands on covering this event as well. 5 replays. Heading on over, that leads us into the StarCraft Evolution Season 2 Championship. We've been discussing this quite a bit. We were all over the qualifiers, all over the main season, but now the championship is upon us. Now, unfortunately, we have not had the luxury to cover any of it. We did miss out on a day of casting, unfortunately, and we would have covered some of the events, but we've yet to really dip our toes into the round of 28. I think I was saying round of 36, but it's the round of 28. That was the first group stage, and here we have the results coming in. We had 6 groups. 6 groups of 4. We had Mana, 3-point Magic Turtle, and Bratok facing off in Group A. In the end, we had Mana coming out in first place, 3-point in second. Very surprising. I do rate 3-point very highly. I would have rated 3-point above Mana, so if Mana's takedown 3.2-0 is a very impressive result here from Mana. Scoring down, we have Group B. We have Björn, Mixu, Prome, and Iceland. I would have rated Prome above Mixu, to be honest. I know that Prome, he devotes a lot of time to StarCraft Evolution, so I would have rated him above Mixu. In the end, we had Mixu falling to Björn, taking down Iceland 2-0, and taking down Prome 3-0. So big win there for Mixu. Very impressive play from our Finnish Zerg player as it comes out in second place. Scrolling over, we have Group C. Ooh, okay, this was a brutal group. Definitely, these are some of the groups that we wanted to cast. I did want to cast Group F, Group E, Group D, and we might still be going over some of these groups, but again, we have like a limited amount of time, especially with the round 16 this weekend, so we'll do our best. But here we had Rogue, Tasia, Midway, and Mang Russell. I would love to cover these matches just because I would love to know the form of Rogue. Seeing these results doesn't tell me enough. I want to see how he handled himself, especially when playing as Brood War. You can even see here, if you go further into the Group C matches, Rogue versus Mang Russell, you can see game 1 and game 3, Rogue played StarCraft 2, and Rogue he won. He won the games where he played SC2 Zerg. He lost the game where he played Brood War Zerg. So here in this series, because I do rate Mang Russell quite highly in StarCraft Evolution, Rogue his StarCraft 2 Zerg carried him. And that is something that you can do for sure in these SC Evo tournaments, especially if you're unfamiliar with StarCraft Evolution. You can just rely on your SC2 skills, and that can carry you in a series, in a best of. So in the end, Rogue did claim the series, again, just winning with SC2 Zerg. Meanwhile, Tasia took down Midway, Rogue took down Tasia. Also, quickly looking at this series, Rogue versus Tasia, if you go further into it, you can see game 1 and game 3, Rogue played SC2. He played SC2 Zerg, and the one game that he lost, he played all games actually. If you look at that, every game he was playing SC2 Zerg, he never had to rely on Brood War Zerg. He did lose a game against Tasia in game 2, very impressive by Tasia, but Rogue, he makes it through in first place, purely off of SC2 Zerg. God damn it. Going down, we had Midway. Midway took down Mang Russell 2-1. That's a big, impressive win there for Midway. And then Tasia took down Midway 3-1 in the end. So Tasia and Rogue, they make it on through. Again, I'm curious to see how Rogue does in this tournament, just because he made it through the group stage purely off of his SC2 Zerg play. Eventually, especially in longer series, he will be forced to play Brood War Zerg. We'll see how he can handle himself. So going down to Group D, I would also echo those sentiments with Cure, because Cure, just like Rogue, is a player that does not play StarCraft Evolution. Cure, Rogue, Gumiho are all very inexperienced. Creator has a little bit more matches under his belt, so he's a little bit more experienced with this. We even saw him in the previous Nation Wars show match. But here in Group D, before we get ahead of ourselves, we have Cure. Cure takes down Young Yakov 2-0. And yep, if you look at the series, looks like, it says here game 1, S2 versus Brood War. Was it the same in game 2? I can't confirm. I cannot confirm. But Kira did win the series 2-0. Milky Cow over Rebellion 2-1. Kira over Milky Cow 2-1. Oh, went to the ace match here. Okay. Game 2, the one game that Kira lost, he played Brood War. The 2 games that he won, he played SC2. So Kira, again, he relied on his StarCraft 2 to beat Milky Cow to make it out in first place. Scoring down, Rebellion takes on Yang Yakov 2-1. Big win there for Rebellion. And Rebellion takes on Milky Cow. I rate Milky Cow quite highly in this game mode. Not gonna lie, in StarCraft Evolution, like Milky Cow, he's achieved quite a lot. He's looking really good, but he's already out of the tournaments. Ooh, feels bad, man. So Rebellion takes down Milky Cow 3-1. Impressive win there by Rebellion. This is another one of these groups that looks really, really close and really intense. Like, I rate them all quite highly when it comes to Brood War, except for Kira, of course. So I'd be really curious to see those matches. A lot of them went to the ace match. A lot of them did go to the ace match. Heading on over, we have Group E. This also looks like a really fun group. We had Creator. Creator takes down GG Machine 2-0. Creator, he won with SE2 and with Brood War. Again, Creator, he has more experience with Brood War, so with Brood War Protoss in StarCraft Evolution. So again, he is one of the players that I'm less concerned by. Again, my eyes are mainly on Rogue, Kira, and Gumiho when it comes to how they perform with Brood War. But Kira takes down GG Machine. Honmono takes down Wayne. Creator takes down Honmono. Creator making it out in first place, doesn't drop a single map. Wayne eliminates GG Machine, and then Honmono takes down Wayne to qualify. Ooh, my condolences to Wayne. Again, I would say that Wayne, he's one of the best Zerg players in StarCraft Evolution. Like, I think I would rate him higher than Rumieth. Like, when I think of the Zerg players in SE Evo, I think of 3 Point. I thought of Dark, not anymore. I think of Shin. I think Shin must have been seated further in. Yeah. I think of 3 Point. I think of Shin. And then I think of Wayne. Like, I think I would place Wayne as top 3 Zerg in StarCraft Evolution. I place him above Mixu, and I think I would place him above Rumieth. Maybe I'm out of line saying he would be above Rumieth. I know that Rumieth did have some really good results in the StarCraft Evolution Masters previous events, so maybe I'm speaking out of turn in regards to Rumieth. But regardless, like I rate Wayne quite highly, and he did not make it out of the group in the first round. Brutal result there for Wayne. Good results. Heading over to Group F, we have Gumiho, Rumieth, Skillus, and the STC. Ooh, here I had a lot of faith in Skillus, not gonna lie, and it was a close one. Like, in my mind, I rate Skillus over Rumieth, but here we had Gumiho takes down the STC 2-0. We had Rumieth taking down Skillus 2-0. Very impressive there by Rumieth. Meanwhile, we had Gumiho. Gumiho, hey, he won games with Brood War Terran. Let's go. Won games with Brood War Terran. He beat the STC. He beat Rumieth to qualify in first place. Skillus took down the STC, and you can see here the final series went all the way to the ace match. Rumieth and Skillus went all the way to game 5. Very close, very intense. In the end, barely went the way of Rumieth. Again, I didn't get to see any of these games, any of these matches. I would have loved to have seen that best of 5. Congratulations to Rumieth as he does edge it out over Skillus. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we have our confirmed round of 16. We have our confirmed groups. We have Group A, Shin, Tasia, Mana, and Mixu. Shin, he was already seeded into this stage ahead of time. The others did come in from the previous group stage. This is going to be an interesting one. I will say that Mixu, in my eyes, is the weakest link. I don't know how to rate Mana. A lot of this, again, I wish I had the time to cover these events. I would love to see how Mana played in Group A. If he could beat 3 Point there, Mana, he might have a good showing against Shin. Like, like in my eyes, like Shin 3 points, like Shin is still, I would say, the best Zerg player in StarCraft Evolution for sure. But I don't know if the gap between Shin and 3 Point is that high. Maybe it is. But yeah, like this is a harder one to call. I want to say Shin Tasia make it out of Group A, but Mana, he can pop off. He can always pop off in StarCraft 2. StarCraft Evolution, I'd say the same. So Mana can definitely pop off as well. It's going to be an interesting battle there for top 2. Again, I do feel like Mixu is kind of the weakest link there, but best of luck to Mixu. Heading on over to Group B. Oh my god. 3 points surrounded by Terran. Oh god, this is a brutal group. Kiwi and Bjorn and Gumiho and 3 points. Interesting. Once again, I'm curious to see this group, just because I don't know how to rate Gumiho right now. Bjorn, in my eyes, is the best Terran player in StarCraft Evolution currently, but with the introduction of players like Gumiho and Cure, who are playing for the first time, how do they compare? Do they play it much? Can they rely on just purely SE2, and can that carry them through the groups again? Possibly. It might carry them again, maybe not. So best of luck here to the players. Again, Bjorn and Kiwian are going to be playing in that first round, and Gumiho and 3 points thereafter. Who do I feel like will make it out? I feel like Bjorn should be a sure thing to make it through the group, just because of how much time he dedicates to StarCraft Evolution, just because he plays in so many of the tournaments. In second place, in my eyes, can I see Kiwian defeating Gumiho? If it's hard to call. I just don't know how to rate Gumiho right now. Maybe Gumiho, maybe Byeon and Gumiho, or Byeon and 3 points in my eyes. But again, Kiwin is a really good player as well. It's a hard one. I feel like Group B is definitely going to be a harder one to call. Group C, we have Classic, Homono, Cure, and Rumieth. Oh boy, Classic, he'll make it through. Classic, I mentioned before, he is the best Protoss player in StarCraft Evolution. I just realized as well that Hero was not invited, or he didn't accept the invites. A little bit of a shame. Hero, he might be on vacation a little bit, but yeah, it is a shame to see that that Hero has not made it through, or is not a part of the event, just because Hero looked like a beast in his show match. Like Hero, he's played StarCraft Evolution before, and he's looking like an animal. So it would have been great to have seen him here, but it looks like Hero either didn't accept or he wasn't invited. So unfortunately, there's no Hero here. But Classic, like he is the best Protoss in, I would say, in the tournaments, straight up, 100%. So he should be making it through. Alongside him, who's going to advance on? Cure has been relying heavily on his SC2 performance, so if Cure can get away with it, maybe he'll make it through. I feel like Homono is probably the weakest link here, kind of like Mixu in Group A. I feel like Homono is going to have a harder time. Rumieth, if you recall, I was rating Wayne over Rumieth previously, but hey, maybe I was underestimating Rumieth, and maybe he can pop off as well. In my eyes, he's a bit of a darker horse here, so I'm leaning towards Classic and Cure, maybe Classic and Rumieth. I'm looking forward to see how Rumieth handles himself in that group. Going down to Group D, would you have Spirit, Creator, Rogue, and Rebellion? Now, if you remember, at the start of the year, for the first 3 months of 2025, I was rating Spirit very highly. Spirit, he was playing in all things StarCraft Evolution. But once the EWC circuit was announced, Spirit, he stopped competing. He just stopped playing in SE Evo, and he focused entirely on StarCraft 2. So we have seen less and less of Spirit as of late in StarCraft Evolution. So because of that, I don't know how much faith I can put in Spirit here. If we were casting Spirit at the start of the year, I'd say he has a good chance, a good shot at making it out. Again, I want to say it was December of last year, January, where he was the best Terran in StarCraft Evolution, just because Byeon wasn't competing. Byeon, he didn't start until a little bit later. So I was rating Spirit really highly, but now coming in, we're almost through the year at this point, and Spirit has been playing less StarCraft 2 and less StarCraft Evolution, so I'm leaning more towards Creator. I think Creator's been impressing me with his results as of late, and maybe Rogue. We'll see if he can get away with relying on StarCraft 2 again. But we'll see. Like my expectations for Spirit are a lot lower here, despite his performance and dominance in the previous championship. For this one, I'm a little bit less on that Spirit hype train. But hey, maybe he'll pop off. Maybe he'll surprise. I hope so. I do hope so. So again, we have our 4 groups. When it comes to coverage, this event is going to be in 2 days' time, and I would love to cover it. But I believe there are some scheduling conflicts with other events that we're casting ourselves, like our amateur tournaments. Checking this weekend, like MSO and Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. I might be able to catch the tail end of some of these groups. Otherwise, we're going to have to rely on replay casts. Now, we missed out on the majority of the round of 28. I do apologize for that when it comes to replay coverage, just because we've had no time. But for the round 16, can we fit in 4 casts? I'll do my best. I'll do my best to fit in 4 replay casts of the round of 16 throughout the course of the coming week. This will be taking place over the weekend. I'll do my best to cover it throughout the week itself. No big promises. As I mentioned before, like right now, this channel was almost built on casting StarCraft all day, every day, twice a day, every single day. But in recent times, I have had less free time. I've had less free time to cast, less free time to cover. My schedule has been a lot tighter as of late, and yeah, because of that, I don't know if I can commit as hard. I will try though. I will try to at least dedicate myself to the round 16 and to the playoffs as well. Not for live coverage, but for replay coverage at least. That is my hope. Regardless, if you want to watch this live, I believe it's going to be covered by Steadfast, by some of these other English casters out there. It's going to be cast in Spanish, of course, by Enki, in Korean, of course, in Russian, and some of the other languages. And again, we might be able to do a little bit of it ourselves. Big maybe on that one, though. Big maybe. No promises when it comes to live coverage, but I do try to promise for at least replay coverage throughout the course of the week. Bearing in mind that all the groups are happening at the same time, so it's going to be difficult to cover everything live anyway. But we'll do our best. We will do our best. And meanwhile, that leads us into the patches patch clash number 4. Now, this, speaking of patches and speaking of mods, patches has created his own balance mod. Not designed for balance, designed for fun. It's got a lot of really weird quirks. We did cast the 5.4K edition earlier this morning. It's a crazy event. It is a crazy tournament. And just for a bit of a glimpse of some of the changes, he reworked the Infestor entirely. The Infestor now can make infested Terrans, but when they produce them, it's almost like a Reaver, where the Reaver builds up scarabs inside itself. Here, you build up 3 infested Terran inside yourself and inside the Infestor, and they're permanent units and not timed units, so you just use it to build infested Terran, which is crazy, by the way. And it itself is its own unique kind of stats and unique kind of unit itself. Other changes were other meaningful changes were he removed adaptive talons for the lurker, so the lurker is less mobile. The ghost can no longer be interrupted when it snipes, so there's less counterplay against ghosts. But the ghost snipe, it's a little bit easier to break that, to pull away from it, I should say, to run away from the snipe and to break it. I believe the leash range is a little bit shorter. I think it went from 20 to 16, if I'm not mistaken. It went down by 4. So it's a little bit shorter, so you can break that a little bit easier if you run away. So there's a very different dynamic happening there. He added so many new upgrades. There's an upgrade that does reduce the splash damage of a siege tank, so the siege tank does less splash damage. The armory provides cloaked widow mines, so you don't need drilling claws for that. You just need the armory once again. Other changes that come to mind, I believe the mothership can be abducted, but only 50% of the way. so the Viper abducts it a little bit closer to you, not fully. That was another change. There is a charge upgrade, so you have regular charge. Charge was reworked, and charge now you can target on the ground, which means you can charge forward even if there isn't a unit in front of you, and you can charge away, of course. You can use charge to escape and to run away as well, because you can target the ground. There's another upgrade which does, I think it regenerates the Zealots' shields by 20 on a successful charge. Like, that's like a late game upgrade. There's an upgrade for the Ultra, where the Ultra does more damage to buildings, so then SimCity becomes less effective because Ultras can now actually attack and break down bunkers and depots a lot easier, and planetaries as well. So there's an upgrade for the Ultras. There's all these crazy upgrades like that. Tech labs and reactors can be salvaged. Yeah, there's a lot of changes. I will say, based on the changes, and I just glossed over it, there's so much more. I think there's like a late game Stalker upgrade where you can increase Stalker range by 1. There's also he reworked the Dark Templar, and the Dark Templar, they're only cloaked if they have full shields. So if a Dark Templar takes some damage, then they're no longer cloaked. On top of that, he reworked warp, the warping mechanic, where when you warp in a unit, it only has full shields if it's warped in with a gateway. If you warp in with a pylon, then it doesn't have full shields. On top of that, if you warp in with a warp gate, it also warps in with 0 shields. So if you warp in with a naked pylon, the unit has 0 shields. If you warp in with a warp prism, unit also has 0 shields. It needs a gateway, which I feel like is a step too far, specifically when it comes to warp prism harass. He wanted to completely kill warp prism harass, essentially. Like, there are so many crazy changes like that. Fun fact, because of that, there was a game where we had a player go into DTs and proxy a pylon, and he warped in the DTs, and because they warped in without any shields, they weren't cloaked, and they just died. like there's some crazy interactions like that. So it's a crazy patch. There's a lot of different changes. Some of them are interesting, some of them maybe a step too far, some of them maybe a step not far enough. But as I mentioned, just to reiterate, the patch that he made, the mod that he made, it's less about balance and more about like crazy changes like that. And I think he added like a repair drone for the Raven, and he got rid of the anti-armor missile. There's just so many changes that were made. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of changes were made. Meanwhile, we have the patch clash number 4, which is a tournament forcing the players to play on the mod, of course, and it was double elimination. Geralt, he got knocked out early by Hon Mono, but he worked his way back through, taking down R, taking down Hon Mono, taking down Special, and takes down Mixu 3-2 in the finals, claiming the win. GG, well played, very impressive play there by Geralt. Now, what I will say, okay, saying this patches, he reached out and he was like, hey, do you want to cover like the 5.4K tournament? The reason why there's a 5.4K tournament is because he said that a lot of the pro players don't actually use the new upgrades. They don't actually make use of some of the new changes, and they just play it as they normally do, and they just ignore the patch. It's like, oh, like they play on the patch, but they just ignore a lot of the other changes, and they just play how they did. So patches, he was a little bit disappointed with this pro edition of the tournament, and that leads us into the 5.4K edition, which is like low GM. Oh, the Wikipedia page has not been updated.
Yeah, I want to add a quick note here. If any of you guys that are watching this and you are awake at NA hours, tournaments like this need your help. You could be there to edit it. It doesn't have to be live. You can edit it after the fact, but I am not awake at those hours, so I could not update the Wikipedia. But it's actually really simple, so if you want to help out, this is your chance.
There you go. Yeah, Wikipedia is open to anyone adding these changes and providing these score lines and these results. So it's accessible to anyone out there. That is true. When it comes to the event itself, we saw Inexorable popping off. I actually did have a brief interview with Inexorable afterwards, but he took down Sodavlad. He 2-0'd Mixu. He 2-0'd Nina. He 3-0'd Mixu, and he just won the entire tournament without dropping a single map. So I had an interview with Inexorable afterwards. Now, also, this is for 5.4K players. Some of the players here are greater than 5.4K, like Mixu, like Nina. They off-raced. To compensate, they off-raced. Nina was playing Zerg, and Mixu was playing Terran. So Mixu and Nina were off-racing, and in the end, Inexorable did claim the win. Again, he is a Terran main, did play Terran. And I did have an interview with him. I did ask him about it, and he was like, yo, Terran is pretty strong in this patch. And based on what we saw, I would agree. Specifically what was happening in a lot of these matches, I can speak mainly on the TVZ that was occurring. He said that Terran is feeling really, really strong against Protoss in this patch. But when it came to the dynamic between TVZ, I mean, obviously Nina's not as prolific with her Zerg as she is with Protoss, of course. But we did see a really kind of rough dynamic between Lingbane Hydra Lurker versus Buyer Terran, just because of certain changes that I just mentioned, coinciding with each other. With the Ghost not being able to be interrupted with their snipe, it does make the Ghost so much more efficient, so much more powerful. As I mentioned before, there's less counterplay because you cannot deny the snipe anymore. I said that to counteract that, they did make it a little bit easier to break the snipe if you run away from the units, if you get out of range of the Ghost. That is true, but another change that occurred, if you remember, was Lurkers no longer have adaptive talons. Lurkers were made less mobile. Because the Lurkers are made less mobile, they cannot actually uproot and and scuttle away in time. So Ghost just dominated Lingbane Hydra Lurker. Like it was crazy. Like Nina had a very hard time. Nina was up like 50 supply, by the way. Like there was a game on Pylon that they had where I thought that Nina had it in the bag. Nina was looking strong, and then Inexorable got into Ghost production, and then you can spam that Ghost copy pasta meme even harder for for this mod because Inexorable had a very fun time making use of those Ghosts and dominating those Lurkers, just because there was no way to stop the snipes like there would be previously. The Ghost would be like getting fungled, for example, and then it just wouldn't do anything. So yeah, he was feeling pretty good about it. He himself said that like Terran's feeling really strong in the mod. But as I mentioned, this mod is more for fun, less so about, balance, for example. So it's not the biggest of deals. It's more like a sandbox, more like a testing ground for all these weird changes and these weird upgrades and all this other stuff. So yeah, it was really fun to cover, really interesting to go through as well. Obviously, there were a lot of other dynamics as well. And I even had like the Google Doc open while I was casting, just so I could quickly double check like the effects of an upgrade or how certain units have been changed as well. I missed it. One of the big upgrade changes was an upgrade was added that it's a late game hive upgrade. I think it's an infestation bit upgrade that allows the roach to be one supply. Which was crazy, by the way. So because of that, Nina was able to get one supply roaches against Mixu. Remember, Mixu was playing Terran, was playing Mech, and Nina, I remember she was maxed out 200 supply. The upgrade kicked in, and she was playing Mass Roach against Mech, and bam, she had 50 free supply. She instantly just 50 free supply. She made a massive wave of roaches to reinforce, and then just overran with pure roach. It was crazy against Mixu. That upgrade looks crazy, and I don't think it's very. I don't think it'd be healthy for the game. Specifically, in my mind, I was thinking of we never go to ZVZ in this tournament, of course. Why would we? The Zerg players are a rare sight. But if we did, I was most concerned about Roach versus Roach in ZVZ, just because if an upgrade like that did exist, there'd be less incentive, or potentially less incentive and less reason in Roach versus, in ZVZ for a player to tech up into Hydra Lurker, and instead they might just commit and double down into pure Roach and tech up into the infestation bit, get the one supply upgrade, and just commit even further to just mass Roach anyway, and that might be an issue. That's what I was expressing, is that an upgrade like that probably wouldn't be healthy for ZVZ as well, specifically. In other case scenarios, I don't really see it being too much of an issue. Remember, it's an infestation bit upgrade. I don't really see it being an issue against Protoss. Like, roaches in general, they don't really scale too well against Protoss. Even if that upgrade were to occur, like, getting to that point, I don't see that being too viable against Protoss. We saw it against Mech. I think that's probably its best case use is going to be against Mech. I don't really see it's doing too well against bio or biocentric style, just because roaches can be abused quite heavily. But I'm not too certain about that. I can maybe see it working against bio with a roach based opener instead of roaches taking up into ultras, maybe roach into more roach. Maybe it's something to be tested. But in general, I'm not too fond of the upgrade. I'll be honest. I'm not too. It's a fun idea, but I don't think the implications are a good thing. I don't know if we want to incentivize roaches and then mass roach specifically. Like, we're trying to move away from that sort of thing, I feel. But congratulations to Inexorable, as it has claimed the 5.4K edition of the tournament. Congratulations. That leads us into the amateur weeklies. The amateur weeklies number 135 for the initiates version. This is for players between the leagues of Bronze and Platinum. I should quickly reiterate, this is a weekly tournament series where they do host a weekly for Bronze to Platinum, Diamond 3 to Diamond 2, Diamond 1 to Masters 2, and so on and so forth. There's no money on the line, but there are points on the line. It's just a tournament series that has been made to allow players to compete against each other in a bracket format like this. There's, of course, money on the line for like the end of season finals that they do host. And for this weekly, we had Flesh. Flesh, not a player that I'm too familiar with, takes down Jackals, does fall to Milo, but does actually get his revenge over Milo in the finals, 3-1. GG. Congratulations to the Flesh, again, for the Bronze to Platinum edition of the weeklies. That leads us into the Veteran edition, which is Diamond 3 to Diamond 2. Here we have Nelson. Nelson, a player that we have casted before in our own Diamond tournaments. Nelson, he does fall to Balimko in the upper bracket finals, does fall down, does win in the rematch though, 2 tournaments in a row. What I mean by that, the previous Bronze to Platinum, this edition as well, the player does get the win in the revenge match. Nelson takes down Balimko 3-2 in the finals. GG. Very impressive win there. Very impressive win. Very impressive result. That leads us into the Prestige tournament. This is for those between the leagues of Diamond 1 and Masters 2. Here we had Wiseman, a player that we've casted, that we've seen before, and I think I've seen him in other amateur tournaments in years past. But Wiseman takes down Anatar 2-0 and takes down Anatar 3-0 in the finals. Doesn't lose a single game. Oh my god, Esther Wiseman. Very impressive play. Wiseman does claim the win, does take it in the end. Congratulations. That leads us into the Elite tournament, where we had 2 players. A walkover. Cobblestone gets the walkover win. I mentioned this before, I mentioned it again. For the M1/GM edition of this tournament, there's rarely any participation. The reason for this is because typically, if you're at this level, if you're at the GM/Pro level, you're competing in tournaments that provide prize money. You're not competing in tournaments like this, where it's only points and it's more for the experience than anything. typically these players that are eligible for this are competing in actual like bigger tournaments. So it's a little bit unfortunate they have less incentive to compete in this, and as a result, they rarely ever do play. But that leads us into the CSO number 43 Contender Edition. Not the regular weekly, but Contender, which I believe is also MMR restricted, if I'm not mistaken. As this is a monthly tournament, yes, this is for players that are 4.4k MMR and below. Okay, so that's around M3, around like Masters 3 level. Here we had Zistem. We had Zistem taking down Anatar 2-1, takes down Nektari 2-1, and takes down Arthrox 3-1 as well. Impressive play there by System. Not a player that I'm familiar with. There are some players that I see, like Anatar, like Arthrox as well. Blade, I see Elaine, true, the Mexican Zerg player. I see Bullock Jr. as well, and Choi Galaxy. So there's a couple of players, Reciprocity. A couple of players that I'm familiar with, but I'm not familiar with System. So congratulations. Congratulations to System, as it does claim the win here in the end. Oh, 3-1. 3-1. Congratulations. And yeah, we don't often, I'll be honest, I haven't seen the CSO Contender in quite some time, so really cool to see it once again. Really cool to see it again. That leads us into the Passioncraft Emerging Stars number 29. This is MMR restricted to those that are 5.5k MMR and below. And hey, there's Inexorable. He won the previous patch clash, but here he does fall to F2 Click, and F2 Click takes down Kamikaze in the finals, 3-2. Very impressive. Yo, he goes through all the Brazilians, all the Latin Americans actually. He beat Daryl in the first round, then Inexorable, then Kamikaze. So went through all the Latin Americans to claim the win in the end. Congratulations to F2 Click for claiming the win, for being this week's Passioncraft Emerging Star Champion. Congratulations here to F2 Click. That leads us into the Collegiate World Championship. If you remember, we announced the kind of like the qualifiers coming out for this event, and we did take note of that, or the sign-up list, I should say, for the event, and looks like we've had some matches ongoing, or it looks like they've maybe just begun. Hold on, this might just not be updated. Let's check out the no, yeah, it is updated. Okay, it is updated. So it looks like we have confirmed groups. I can say that at least. Looks like we have confirmed groups. A lot of players here, a lot of players you should be familiar with. Now, remember, to be eligible to compete in this tournament, you have to be studying. You have to be in a university, in a college. You have to be in the middle of your studies in some way, shape, or form. So that is the prerequisite to compete in this tournament. So who do we have? We have Jay, Fiant, Inexorable, Soil, and Azarel in Group A. My favorite players here are going to be Fiant and Inexorable, for sure. They are the two biggest names, and they're going to be favored to make it out of Group A. So best of luck to all the other competitors here, as there's a lot of Canadian representation in Group A. Group B, ooh, we have some bigger names. We have Sebestes, Azura, Cobblestone, Patches, and Blade. I'm familiar with every single one. Blade, he's more of an amateur player. Actually, Blade, he just played in the CSO Contender. In the previous bracket, he was there. He was there. So this is a more notable group. Oh my god. Coming into this, Sebestes and Azura are the heavy favorites, for sure. They are the two favorite players. But Cobblestone and Patches and Blade are notable in their own way, and hopefully they can put up a good showing and put up a good show. So best of luck. Heading over to Group C, we have UD Soldier, we have Guitar King, Anticore, Jackie, and XY Fans. Coming into this, I would say that UD Soldier and Anticore are favored. Guitar King, I could see maybe causing an upset. He's a Protoss player from Lithuania. I think I have seen him have some decent results in the past as well. So best of luck. For the most part, though, UD Soldier and Anticore are going to be favored. Heading on over to Group D, we have Jingming, we have Nisho, we have Wingit, Robert Toak, and Wheelbug. Also, that's Jackie. That's our Jackie. That's Pleiades. That's
But
who's the other one?
It says Australia. No.
Yeah, I think he's from Vietnam, living in Australia. That maybe it's not. Maybe it's someone. Maybe it's someone else.
Another Jackie.
Maybe it's another Jackie. Maybe it's another Jackie. God damn it. Yeah. We have Xingming, Nisho, Wingit, Robert, and Wheelbug. Here, I would say Xingming is probably the favorite player. We've casted him in the past. Nisho, I'm unfamiliar with. I'm not very familiar with Nisho, so I don't really know what to expect. But apparently he's on Bing Bong Esports, so I guess tentatively I'll say they're the two favorite players. But again, I haven't seen Nisho compete before, so I'm not too certain. Heading over, we have Group E. We have Hydra, Greenert, Winters, Monta, Yorber, Chris, ADG, Adgiliup, and Chunk as well. A lot of players I'm less familiar with. Briefly glossing over it, I would assume that Hydra and Greenert are favored there. They're both GMs in their own rights. But some of these others, I don't really know what to expect of. So best of luck. Best of luck to everyone involved. But Hydra, Greenert, in my eyes, going to be favored. Heading on over to Group F, we have Akedon, we have Sig, we have Timo, we have Triple H, we have Nothing's Perfect, and Cybertron. This is going to be an interesting one. Akedon has been getting some really good results as of late. He's been popping off. Like, Akedon he's been looking like a beast. He beat Australia as of late. Australia off racing, true, but he still beat Australia. Sig is also an upcoming player from Sweden. I rate him quite highly. Triple H also has been getting some really good results over in the Chinese region. So, is this the group of death? Maybe. Like, for a lot of these other groups, they're like two clear players that are above all the rest, in my eyes. Like, you can make an argument maybe for Group B, but for Group F, like, I would say that Akedon, Sig, and Triple H, they can go either way. They can go either way there, those three players. So, best of luck to all those involved. Group G, we have Lorimbo. Does Lorimbo not have a Wikipedia page? No shot.
Yeah,
How does
Lorimbo is actually an entirely stream personality, which is hilarious. He does not have like enough results to have a Wikipedia page, as far as I know.
I don't believe you. He's played in a lot of all things Proto.
He is everywhere. He just does not have the results to be on Wikipedia. You know?
He should. I'm gonna advocate right now for Lorimbo. He should have a Wikipedia page. What's going on? I'm looking at you, Cynical. He's one of your boys. He's from Italy. What's happening? Este Cynical. Este Lorimbo. So that is a crime that he does not have a Wikipedia page. We have Lorimbo, we have Hacker's Top, we have Benny, we have Draco, we have Demaccio, and we have Bobek as well. This is an interesting one. I lean towards Lorimbo and Hacker is top for the top two, but best of luck to everyone else. I'm not familiar with Benny. How does Benny have a Wikipedia page and Lorimbo does not? So what's happening right now? What's happening? SMH. Apparently he played in the Goose Duckling Team League. Let's go.
What? Hold on.
You heard me. He played in the Goose Duckling Team League. He came second.
Looks like we have some investigation to do.
Yes. I think that might have been a parody on us, by the way. Apparently, it was casted by Dave and Takwa, and it's an offshoot of the Vulcan Cup. Okay, interesting. SMH. But that leads us into Group H. Group H: Gunner, Magnath, Fifth Rom, Roman Demold, Capote, and Romantic. Oh, here we go. Likewise, Gunner and Magnath are going to be favored there. I think in general, they've done a great job at spreading out the bigger names. I think for the most part, there's like two notables, like two big notables in each group, and only two are meant to make it out of groups, so there's nothing that's too overly stacked. As I mentioned before, like Group F in my mind is a little bit more up in the air, just because I rate Triple H quite highly. But I'd be excited to see how he compares to Stig and how he compares to Akedon as well. Likewise, Group B has more notables, that is true, but I would say that there is a bit of a skill gap between Cobblestone Patch's Blade and Azura and Sebesses. Like, Azura and Sebesses, I feel like they're still a cut above the rest, but it looks like an exciting group nonetheless. Looks exciting. So best of luck to all the players. Again, there's a lot of money on the line here. It is $1,000 USD prize pool, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. Going to be a lot of fun. Apparently sponsored by Rotterdam, sponsored by Allison, and some of the others out there as well. So really cool to see. Really cool to see. Best of luck to all the players involved. Hope you're all committed to your studies, of course, and hope you're all able to commit to even more as well in that tournament. Best of luck. That leads us into the uThermal 2v2 circuit main event. Now, this was covered by uThermal, covered by Steadfast. The group stage was covered by Wardy. We already went over the group stage previously, and now we have the playoff brackets. We do have Max, and Spirit. We have Trigger, Showtime, uThermal, Shameless, Jumi, Young Yakov, Gigi Machine, Lambo, Cyril, and a Laser. We had the playoff teams. Oh boy. Now we were working behind the scenes on this event. We were not casting the event ourselves here on the CranKy Ducklings, but that's why we weren't casting it, just because we were focusing on running the event instead. And again, it was like a shout out to, of course, Kura for putting in a lot of work as well, especially because this was at a more European-friendly time, and especially for the final day, I went to bed, baby, went to bed. But coming into this, Max Pax and Spirit, they were the #1 seed. We spoke about it in the lead-up last week, if you remember. Max Pax and Spirit, because of their performances in the group stage, they actually found each other. And Max Pax and Spirit, they are the best 2v2 team in the world. Straight up. 100%. Like there is no doubt in anyone's mind. They are the best 2v2 team in the world. So because they found each other as a pairing in the playoffs was brutal. They were the ones to win. We were looking to see if anyone could stop them. Likewise, Jimmy and Young Yakov, they're the other team that actually found themselves, and they're also a very strong team as well. The others were paired up with players that they may be a little bit less familiar with, referring to Trigger, Showtime, uThermal, Shameless, alongside The Machine, Lambo, and Cyril and Laser. Going over the results, Max, Pax, and Spirit, they were able to take down Trigger, Showtime 3-1. They took down Jimmy and Young Yakov 3-1 as well. Jimmy and Yakov did take down uThermal and Shameless. And in the end, we had Max, X, and Spirit claiming the win and becoming, and of course, confirming something that we always knew, is that they are the best 2v2 team in the world. They take down Trigger and Showtime in the grand finals 4-1. GG, well played. That is a bit of a surprise in the sense that Trigger and Showtime, they had a deep run. Checking the lower bracket, Trigger, Showtime, they took down G Machine and Lambo 3-2. They almost got a lot of ace matches, pure ace matches in the lower bracket. You love to see it. Very, very close series. Trigger, Showtime, G Machine and Lambo, they went all the way to the ace match together. Then they went up against Cyril and Laser. They also went all the way to the ace match. Then they went up against Young Yakov and Jimmy, also going all the way to the ace match. Looks like Trigger did play Terran at times. So Trigger, he was mixing it up a little bit. Again, typically double Protoss is less than ideal. And yep, if you look at G Machine and Lambo, they also were race switching and changing things up. I say double Protoss are less than ideal. Typically, double same race teams are less than ideal. So double Protoss, double Zerg, double Terran are typically considered to be weaker. Just weaker races and weaker pairings. So we saw that Trigger was being a little bit more versatile in his play. He'll switch into Terran multiple times in this tournament just to be able to accommodate his teammates a little bit better. So GG, well played. But in the end, Max, Rex, and Spirit, they do still claim the win. But a shout out to Trigger and Showtime for making it all the way. And again, we could have seen a different pairing in the finals, right? Because there are so many ace matches, we could have seen Cyril and Laser, we could have seen Jimmy and Yakov, could have seen Gigi Machine and Lambo. Really could have seen how close the competition was in that lower bracket. But no one could stop Max, X, and Spirit. Again, they are the best 2v2 team in the world. We knew that coming into the event, and now we confirm that with the end of the championship. Congratulations. At no point were they ever stopped in the weeklies or the monthlies. They've won every tournament that they've played in. That continues to be the case. Crazy, puppy, crazy.
Right, but you know what was the most shocking thing about this entire playoffs bracket? We got to see Rascallion.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!
In the finals, in the very final series of the event, we actually got Rascallion into the map order.
Is that the one and only time we ever got Rascallion played?
The only time this map was played the entire tournament.
That's good. There was a meme between the admins, by the way, because of the veto process. There were 2 maps that never got played in the group stage, but they finally got played once. That was, I believe, was it Breakwater? It was either Breakwater or Undercurrent. It was one of those 2 maps that only got played once. Breakwater, there we go. Breakwater only got played once in the group stage, only once in the group stage, and Rascallion never got played. Never got played in the group stage. So coming into the playoffs, we were curious if that was going to happen, if that trend was going to continue. But it looks like we did get Rascallion played once in the entire tournament, just the once in the finals. But we got it. Let's go. Let's go. Beautiful. So again, it was a massive prize pool. On top of that, shout out to all the streamers as well. We already went over it last week, but there was an incentive for players to stream their POVs during the group stage, and it was a lot of fun. We posted some clips on Reddit as well, especially when Jimmy was playing with Cyril, so it was a lot of good fun. A lot of memes were had. Some players that were only doing it just for the money, for sure. There were definitely players that were not interacting with their chats at all, and they were just live just to qualify for the streamer bonus.
I mean, the best part was when one of them asked me, "Okay, so I streamed 5 series, I can go now, right?"
Yeah, pretty much. They would just cut the stream immediately. So there were some that they were only there for the money, but there were others that they were having fun with it. They were actually putting on a show and interacting with their chat and all that good stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun nonetheless. A lot of fun nonetheless, and really cool that uThermal had that incentive. And with that, I know that uThermal is quite happy with the event itself. And will we get another? Will we get another circuit? When it comes to the future of the 2v2 formats, I mean, the big thing around the corner that I'm sure that uThermal is going to wait for is the map pool. Remember, we spoke about this, we brought this up last week, but the TLMC map pool is getting updated. So I should say the map pool is being updated as the TLMC Team Game Edition is right around the corner. I believe voting will soon be open regarding that. I think the submission phase is closing soon or has already closed, so that's around the corner. And once we get a new map pool for the 2v2 circuit, if I remember correctly, I believe they want to push it by November. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, do apologize for the stream going down there, so do apologize. But hey, just in time for a new segment, just in time for the regional show, for the regional events and for the show matches. Again, so I do apologize. I believe on YouTube the VOD is still the same. I believe it's all in the same VOD, but here on Twitch, I believe the VOD has now been cut up. So I do apologize for that. Again, we just wrapped up with the news of the week, and we also wrapped up with the amateur events and with the modded tournaments. But now we're going over tournament results here of regionals, show matches, and then the open tournaments. Oh boy. Up first, we have the Sunny Lake Cup. We have Sunny Lake Cup number 1. Not to be confused with Firegrow Cup. This is another tournament series that is organized by MinnoVK. MinnoVK, he did want to distinguish between Firegrow Cup and Sunny Lake Cup, just because Firegrow Cup has qualifiers, is a bigger event, is typically a multi-day event with a group stage, then with the playoffs. This is just a straight-up invitational bracket format, so a little bit leaner, just a one-day event as well, and we were lucky enough to cover it here on our channel. We casted it via replays, and we had some crazy results as well. Coming into this, there's certain players I rate quite highly, but Nickrat, he popped off. Nickrat took down Strange 2-1. That's already an upset. I rate Strange very highly. He's an intense player, and he's often favored, especially against the Zerg players in the region. But no, Nickrat takes down Strange 2-1, takes down Wayne 3-0. Dominant performance there by Nickrat, and he takes down Shameless 4-1 as well. I also rate Shameless very highly. Shameless, he's the rising star in my eyes. Like, he has been performing so well as of late. Takes down G Machine, takes down Milky Cow, but he does fall to Nickrat. So a crazy performance there by Nickrat. Very impressive. GG, well played. A big win for the Terran player. Big win. That leads us into MinnoVK show matches number 2. Again, Minno, he's been hosting a lot of these, and hey, he speaking of Nickrat and Shameless and how that was a crazy result from Nickrat, well, Shameless, he gets his revenge. I love this little grudge match here organized a couple of days ago. Shameless and Nickrat in a best of 9, and Shameless, he takes him down, but it was a close series, so this does go to Nickrat's TVP. I typically rate Nickrat's TVP very highly. It's where we've seen Nickrat take maps off of Hero and take series off of Max Packs. So Nickrat, he can take to the best Protoss players in the world. And here you can see him take it to Shameless, go all the way to the ace match. He did 4 in the rematch, but I think this is a little bit telling here. Shameless and Nickrat, they went back and forth. Likewise, Nickrat took down Shameless earlier. Shameless took down Nickrat here. Very close in skill. Very impressive play from Nickrat. Very impressive. Shameless, he does claim the win, so congratulations to Shameless for getting his revenge after the finals of Sunny Lake Cup. GG. Maybe a bit of a grudge forming between the two. Maybe a bit of a rivalry. Hard to say. We'll force him to play more. We'll force him. Regardless, congratulations, Shameless, and a shout out to MinnoVK for organizing another event. As that leads us into the Hungarian Pro Series number 6, the HPS number 6 here. We actually, I believe, went over this last week as it was kind of ongoing, but now has concluded. No. We have.
I will veto this. Last week we were talking about Vortex, which is another Hungarian event, and that one is still ongoing.
Well, there you go. Well, apparently this one has been ongoing for a couple of months, but did just wrap up a couple of days ago. And here we do have Nihed. Nihed does claim it. Again, like we were assuming, I mean, In my eyes, Nihed is the strongest player in all of Hungary. Does claim the win 3-0 over Winter and 4-1 over Freeman. So GG, well played. Looks like this event did last a very long time. It was 3 months. Yo, OSC? Are we? So 3-month long event. But in the end, Nihed does claim the win. Congratulations. Congratulations here to Nihed for taking the win. Again, in my eyes, is the best player in all of Hungary. I say that apparently is living in Poland. Living in Poland. Does claim the win here as he is from Hungary. That leads us over into the Brazilian tournament, the host open number 19. Here we did have, unfortunately, a walkover in the finals. If you remember, some of these results weren't quite complete at the time. They weren't quite complete, and we were waiting to hear some results from the event itself. But it looks like, oh, sorry, this isn't a walkover. It's a 3-0. I have to double check that because I believe I was provided replays. Un momento. Un momento here. Inexorable versus Master. Inexorable versus Master. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah. I have confirmation it was a walkover. It was a walkover. So that is unfortunate, but Master, I mean, hey, he takes down Kamikaze 2-1, takes down Inexorable 3-0, and then the walkover over Inexorable in the grand finals. I'm hoping that maybe there wasn't anything too serious there. I'm sure Inexorable would have been willing to compete again against Master. But once again, Master showing his dominance. Once again, Master showing us all that he was deserving to be a part of the Brazilian StarCraft II circuit, deserving to be a part of that offline event. It's still crazy and shocking that he didn't qualify, that he didn't make it through because he got cheesed the hell out by Kamikaze. If you remember, here he gets his revenge. Takes on Kamikaze, takes on Inexorable. I will say, though, really impressive to see Kamikaze forcing Inexorable to go all the way to the ace match. Like, I rate Inexorable very highly. I rate him much higher than Kamikaze. I will say that in my eyes there's typically a skill gap between the two, but to see that go all the way to game 5 is really impressive. Really cool to see Kamikaze improving quite a lot as of late. Again, much better result than I was anticipating, for sure. But congratulations to Master. That leads us into Amantes. Amantes is StarCraft number 40. Again, the Brazilian circuit, the new season has begun, and here we have Master once again. Takes down Kamikaze 2-0, takes down Yan 3-1, and takes down Shakti 4-0 in the finals. Shakti did take down Kamikaze, did take down Yen. Went all the way to the ace match. I would have loved to have seen that series. Yen versus Shakti went all the way to game 5. Really cool results, really cool to see. In the end, Master does win it all. Again, Master, he is the best Protoss player in all of Brazil. Arguably the best player. I would say, of course, Eric is up there with him. I would say Eric and Master are top 2, but Eric, he has been absent from these tournaments. I'm sure focusing on other aspects of his life, but I'm hoping to see more of Eric in the future, in the coming Amantes. I hope to see him again. Hope to see him once again. And a big shout to Cosmos, of course, for covering these events. Typically, we do cast Amantes and host open in English. I do have the replays for those events, but I mentioned previously when we were discussing StarCraft Evolution how we just haven't had as much time to catch up with these tournaments. There's just so much StarCraft happening at once. I have access to all these matches, all these replays, all these casts. But we can't cast everything. I would love to. I would love to cast it. I just don't have the time. We can't do it. But we'll do our best. We'll do our best. That leads us into the Legacy Weekly Japan number 468. Here we go, your weekly dose of Japanese StarCraft. Do we get another win from Tapioca? That's what I want to know. And yep, there it is. Tapioca Este Boba takes down Hirakui 2-1, takes down Noah Shirayuki, a player that I'm very unfamiliar with. Apparently took down Psyarch, impressive, and takes down Vaishravanya in the finals 2-0. Big win to Boba, big win to Tapioca. Again, in my eyes, the rising star in Japan has been recently winning a lot of these tournaments. Este Tapioca. So GG well played. That leads us into the Seven Smoke series. This is a player that I'm very unfamiliar with. Looks like it's an event from Taiwan. Okay, interesting. Looks like we have King of the Hill format. I believe? No. Oh, okay. So Lemon is the king. So they invite a king of the hill, if you will. So Lemon was invited. And basically they have a wall of players ready to compete against him in best of ones. Regardless whether or not Lemon wins or loses, he is going to be competing, so he is kind of like the star of the show. And we had CCF, we had Maxima, we had Onyx, Andy, Addis Rush, we had I'm Ready, Go Go Joey, Smile, and a couple of others all facing off against Lemon. Lemon, what I find really fun is that he played all 3 races. Lemon infamously is a player that doesn't play random, but he did in different periods of his career did compete as a Pro Terran, Pro Zerg, and Pro Protoss player. So he has race switched over the past, 5+ years of his career. Lemon has been, and currently I believe he is left with Protoss. He's currently a Protoss player. But you can see him showing off his other races, Terran, Zerg, and Protoss. Did lose a game to Onyx, so shout out to Onyx. Big shout out to Onyx for actually getting a win over Lemon and claiming that one win and earning some prize money. But outside of that, Lemon did take down every other player. Currently, I would say that Lemon, he is the best player in Taiwan. In years past, Haas, Nice, But Always, they were the top players. But those 3 players that I mentioned have all retired. They've all retired, and Lemon has kind of risen in their place. So, shout out to Lemon, again, being the best in Taiwan, and yeah, does walk away with the bulk of the prize money. Meanwhile, it looks like we had some other kind of side events here. So we had the 7 Smoke series. Sorry, I just went over the side event. My apologies. That leads us into the elimination. I'm not too certain how this format works, but apparently it says elimination. This is really a qualifier. It says top 8 players qualify for the main event. It's a better way of putting it. So top 8 players do qualify. We had Caron. Caron takes on Tempest 2-1 to qualify. We had Old Zest. Oh.
Not Young Zest. Not to be confused.
Not to be confused with Zest or Young Zest. So there's Zest, the Korean Protoss. There's Young Zest, the Chinese Protoss, and we have Old Zest, the Taiwanese Protoss. Oh no! We need an old Yakov, and we need a middle-aged Yakov as well.
we need a family tree at this point.
Yes. Okay. I love it. So shout out to Old Zest. We need a show match now. We need a show match between the old and the young, 100%. Shout out to Sean. Sean takes down U-Rush 2-0. We have Andy taking down his opponent 2-0. So we have a couple of players which I'm not familiar with their characters. We have it's Zan. Zan, the Malaysian Terran. Okay. I don't know how he found himself there, but Zan, he does take down Onion Storm 2-0, and we had Maxima taking down Midu Kuti 2-0 as well. So congratulations to our players qualifying for the main event. Speaking of, the main event is around the corner. Looks like, I say around the corner, has already concluded a couple of days ago. So we have our group stage. We had Andy, Old Zest, Aired Rush. I think that's meant to be Aries Rush, by the way. I think that's a typo? Question mark. Sean and a couple of other players. We had Karen, Hui, Maxima, Zan as well. In the end, we had Andy, Old Zest, Karen, and Hui making it through, and we have a pure Protoss playoffs. Jesus. Nothing but Protoss. I mean, hey, I know that's been trendy as of late, but Jesus, just a wall of green. Andy takes down Hui, Karen takes down Old Zest, and Karon takes down Andy 3-0. A player that a lot of these players I'm very unfamiliar with. Like, I know Zan. True, I know Zan, and I know who Young Zest is. But really cool to see Old Zest making it that far, and yeah, shout out to the organizers behind the event as well. Shout out to the organizers.
Here's a little fun fact. This tournament, I don't know if it was organized by, but it was at least casted by a player who actually participated in one of our amateur tournaments.
Ah, there you go.
Aikawa, also known as Undertaker.
We know Undertaker. He became ineligible for our tournaments because he got too good, fun fact. So that's why he no longer plays in our tournaments anymore. But yeah, shout out to Undertaker for competing, and again, for competing in amateur events and for running this event as well. Really cool to see. And hope to see more of these in the future. As that leads us to the Sunrise Cup. Sunrise Cup 212. This is a weekly Chinese tournament. And here we did have... Oh, was that Silky? Let me just double check. As we did have Moondeer. Oh, we had Moondeer claiming the win over, I believe that is Silky? No. Okay. But Moondeer does win the event. So quickly scrolling on over here, we have Jolo Loves. Oh, okay. Takes down Jolo Loves 2-0. Very impressive. And there's Young Zest. We just spoke about him. He goes down early also to Moondeer. Not an easy run for Moondeer. Takes down Young Zest, takes down Jolo Loves, and it does take down his final opponent in those in that best of 5 as well. So very impressive play there by Moondeer. Does claim the win. Looks like Nanami forfeited. Oh, I would have favored Nanami to win the entire tournament, but yeah, Nanami did forfeit in the semis. So a little bit unfortunate there, but congratulations to Moondeer for claiming the win. Very impressive stuff. And again, really cool to see all the Chinese participation, as this event is a regular weekly tournament and regularly does host like a good amount of players. Solid signups, as always. And that leads us into Lily Cup number 44. They've been having a lot of fun with off-race show matches, and here we had an off-race invitational. Here we had Lily Cup 44, the Kaczynski Cup. Let's go, Kaczynski Cup edition. We had invited players from China, from Korea, from all around the world, even some Europeans. Lambo and Harstam also taking part. Lancer, Cyan, Coffee, Hero, Jeshi, and Nightmare, and Shin as well. So a solid lineup of players. And the way this worked is that players were forced to play all 3 races. They had to play all 3 races in the best of 3. So as you can see here, you can see every player had to play Zerg, Protoss, and Terran if need be, if they went all the way to the ace match. So they had to assign their respective races. In the end, Lambo takes down Kofi, Hero takes down Jeshi, Nightmare takes down Cyan, and Shin takes down Harstam. Shin, he 2-1 Nightmare to make it to the finals. Lambo 2-1 Hero to make it to the finals. Lambo winning with Zerg and Protoss. Shin winning with also Zerg and Protoss. Let's go. And in the finals, we had Shin win with his Zerg, Lambo won with his Zerg, Lambo then winning with Protoss 2 games in a row. Okay. Bearing in mind for game 4, they played random. Lambo landed on Protoss, and Shin landed on Terran. Again, Lambo infamously has been playing a lot of Protoss. Lambo, I believe he didn't win a single game with Terran. But he relied on the Zerg and Protoss instead. And in the end, Lambo is this edition's Lily Cup champion. Congratulations to Lambo. He is the Kaczynski of the world. Beautiful. GG well played. GG well played, Lambo. All that off racing paying off. All that off racing does pay off in the end. Congratulations with that win over Shin. Again, Lily Cup is not to be confused with the weeklies. Lily Cup does often have unique formats, unique tournaments. Again, they've been doing a lot of off-race show matches and a lot of unique fun styles, and we have that here as well. GG. GG well played. That leads us into our OSC events. Here we go. That leads us into the OSC Elite Rising Star number 16, day 3. We did cover day 1, we covered day 2, now we're here covering day number 3 as well. Oh boy, we've been blazing through it is what I will say. Is OSC Elite running at a pace that has never run before? I want to say yes. Let's go. As we wrapped up the upper bracket, we had Art takes down Nickrak 2-1, Art takes down Tabessus 2-1, and we got what we were hoping for. I mean, I wasn't, but the people wanted it. Art versus Art. Fun fact, by the way, I double checked this because I was like, I wanted to see if we ever casted them played before, and I checked our YouTube channel. We've never casted Art versus Art, and I was like, huh, wait, if we've never casted it, has it ever happened? I looked it up. Fun fact, Art versus Art has never happened. If we never casted it, I was pretty certain that maybe it's never happened before. I double checked. Art versus Art is a series that has never occurred in the history of StarCraft. I'm sure they've played before on the ladder. I'm sure they played before on the ladder, but they've never played before in offline or online tournaments. That is crazy, by the way, considering these are 2 players with the same name that are active in the same period of time. Like, they're both very active players. They played a lot of tournaments. I guess like Art has been a little bit less active in recent years. True, but like, it's not like one player was active like in Heart of the Swarm, and the other was active like in Legacy. Like, no, like they've been relatively active in the same period. Somehow, some way, they just have avoided each other. They've just avoided each other time and time again, even though I'm pretty sure they played in a lot of tournaments together as well. So this is a first, a battle of the arts, let's go, Papi, let's go. So who's gonna take the win? Who is going to have to rename after the series? We're here to find out. We're here to find out who is the stronger art. Let's go. So they're going to be facing off. Percival takes down Moja 2-1 as well, and Percival's waiting for the winner of Babe Marine and Young Yakov. Meanwhile, we also did go over some of the elimination matches, and we have been due to a couple of key players. In the end, Jomek is out of OSC Elite Rising Star. Hatsu is out. Minivike is out, and Night Phoenix is also out. Papi popping off over Night Phoenix. So we now have some confirmed players eliminated from the tournament. We still have more lower bracket matches to come. Whether we cast day 4, we've casted day 1, day 2, day 3 so far. Whether we cast day 4, I cannot confirm. Typically, if another caster is available, like Chicken Man, like Steadfast, like Dave Testa, like Wardy, some of the other casters do step in to cover the event. For now, we have been stepping in to cover the OSC Elite Rising Star. That might continue to be the case. I cannot confirm. I cannot say for certain whether we continue to cover it or not. Cannot say, but regardless, we do what we can, and we're there if we're called upon. GG. GG, well played. So with that, the tournament is slowly progressing. I mean, I say slowly. It's progressing quite nicely. It's progressing quite nicely. Something we almost never see. Let's go. Meanwhile, that leads us over to OSC King of the Hill, number 222. Let's go. We did have our weekly OSC King of the Hill tournament, and here we did have some interesting results. We were alluding to this previously. We'll get into it. First things first, we had Sig. Sig takes down Hatzel 1-0. Remember, these are all best of ones. Best of one, winner stays on. King of the Hill style tournament. Hydra takes down Sig 1-0. UD Soldier takes down Hydra. GG Machine takes down UD Soldier. So we have a back and forth initially for the first 4 matches, and then bam, GG Machine takes down UD Soldier, Jomek, Honmoner, Art as well. So GG Machine goes on a 4-game win streak. Very impressive run there by GG Machine. The first big win streak of the tournament. Then Nick Rat takes down GG Machine. Geralt takes down Nick Rat, takes down Percival as well, and takes down Rebellion. A 3-game win streak out of Geralt. Very impressive. And then Nightmare comes in. Nightmare, his return is here. Remember, Nightmare, he came back, I want to say a couple of weeks ago at this point. He takes down Geralt, takes down Minivike, takes down Christiana, but he falls to Björn. I don't know what it is about Eddie, but Eddie, he usually holds on to Björn until the end. Very often Björn, he comes out like in the later third of the tournament. That's when Björn pops off. That's when he's revealed, and Björn pops off at the end, takes down Nightmare, and Björn is the final king of the hill. But a shout out to Nightmare, to Geralt, and to GG Machine for their win streaks. GG Machine actually going in the longest win streak and walking away with the most amount of prize money. GG. GG will play their GG Machine. And a shout out to all the other competitors, all the other winners, all the other champions. Bearing in mind, in this format, you get prize money for every win you get. So congratulations. That leads us into Lily Cup Weekly number 2. We spoke about this. We have the regular Lily Cups, which are invitationals, but this is a new open tournament leading into an end of month finals. We did cover this event ourselves as well in English. Here we had Max Pax popping off. Max Pax didn't drop a single map. He 2-0'd Rebellion, 2-0'd Creator, 2-0'd Rogue, and 3-0'd Hero Marine, Big Gabe, which was really exciting to see. What I mean by that is that Big Gabe is a rare sight. He often doesn't play in open cups. He's been very vocal that he doesn't enjoy them. He doesn't enjoy waiting, doesn't enjoy the downtime. He doesn't enjoy playing non-stop TVP. And hey, he showed up here, rare sight, and what did he play? Non-stop TVP. Which is to be expected when it comes to open cups. So non-stop TVP, but he had a really good performance. He took down Hearthstone 2-1, Classic, who's our runner-up, our most recent World Cup runner-up, and he took down Trigger 2-1 as well. Trigger, who just 2-0'd Hero. Trigger had a really strong performance in his PvP, taking down Hero. Hero took down Young Zest, but Gabe pops off. I mean, these were still really close series against Hearthstone, against Classic, and against Trigger. In the finals, it was more one-sided, but again, at Max Pax, you could make an argument that he has some of the best PvT in the world. I will say that right now, Max Pax, he's hitting his stride more than before. In months past, Max Pax's weak point was PvP. He had some really rough PvP and would often fall in the Protoss matchup as well. But in recent weeks, we were talking about this a lot last week and the week before that as well. Max Pax, he has reinvented his own PvP. I say reinvented. He has stopped going for the Gate Cyber Stargate expansion build. That is what he's been doing for the past 4 years. He has stopped, and finally Max Pax is going for 2 gate openers and proxies. Max Pax, he's now a lot more flexible in PvP, and now he's been finding a lot more success in PvP as a result. So his weakest matchup has now gotten a lot stronger, and now he's able to really pop off in these tournaments just now, starting a couple of weeks ago. So really cool to see MaxFax find his stride, has been excelling, has been getting better and better results, and we expect to see more of this in the coming tournament results. Up next, we have the Platinum StarCraft League August edition. This is a monthly tournament run by the Platinum Esports and Platinum Heroes. We were lucky enough to cover this event in English, and we had Nightmare pop off. We spoke about it. Nightmare, he has been back for a couple of weeks. Nightmare takes down Percival 2-0, takes down Nickrak 3-2. We were praising Nickrak for his wins against Shameless, and you can see here, again, he takes down Shameless. We've had that back and forth, went all the way to the ace match where Nickrak, he does pop off against Shameless. Very impressive. Again, he was the biggest threat to Nightmare as well. He almost beat him. He almost knocked Nightmare out, and Nightmare, he barely won over Nickrat. He then barely takes down Geralt. I remember those games. There's definitely a world out there where Nickrat could have been Nightmare. There were some of those games that were so close. It could have gone Nightmare. Sorry, they could have gone Nickrat's way. Barely didn't. In the end, Geralt takes down Homono, takes down Jimmy as well, and in the end did go up against Nightmare. Did fall. We do have to adjust this Wikipedia page actually, because Akedon did off race. He did off race. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Akedon did play Protoss against Jumi. We casted him. We casted him against Triple, and we casted him against Jumi as well. He did play Protoss in a PvP matchup. But it was great to see Akedon once again. Akedon, he's been MIA since HSL. It's been months since Akedon has competed, so really cool to see him once again. He's not really in form, is what I will say. He's not really in form to the point where he was off racing and playing Protoss. But it was really cool to see him nonetheless. And in the end, Nightmare just claimed the win over Geralt 3-1. GG, well played. Again, Nightmare struggling the most against Nickrat, but did blaze his way through Geralt and Percival as well. Very impressive return here for Nightmare. Very impressive. Bearing in mind, this event is restricted to players that are 3k and below in Illegal Act, with their Illegal Act rating specifically. So bear that in mind. That's why you don't see Beyond here, you don't see Max Packs, you don't see Shin. This event is restricted to all those top players. They're not able to compete in this. Meanwhile, we have Sparkling Tunic Cup. We do have our weekly open tournament. Here we had a boosted prize pool, if you recall, thanks to a generous donation by Sniper StarCraft. Did donate $100 to the tournament, so we do have a boosted prize pool. Here we did have a Nightmare. Nightmare, he popped off again, takes down Shameless, but he does fall to Trigger. Trigger, he has been looking very impressive in the PvP matchup. We spoke about how he beat Hero earlier, and here he beats Nightmare as well. Likewise, Percival, I would say the highlight of this tournament was the TVT. Percival versus Bjorn. Big upset. I favor Bjorn against Percival. They played a lot, and Bjorn often is the champion, often is the winner against Percival. But this week, Percival pulled off a crazy upset, 2-0'd Geralt, and he 2-1'd Bjorn. Really impressive results. Unfortunately, we did have a walkover in the finals. Trigger did 2-0, and then after game 2, Percival did forfeit. He did step away. Percival, he is known for being very vocally upset about the TVP matchup. He often doesn't like it, even though it's his best matchup, to be honest. It's straight up, it is his best matchup. He gets the best results in Terran vs. Protoss. I know that he just beat Bjorn in TVT, but I still rate his TVP better than his TVT. So Percival, he often does pop off against Protoss, but here he fell to Trigger, and he did kind of yeah, he forfeited just because of that, just because of those, just because of set matchup, I would imagine. Typically, like he isn't very, he's not very BM when it comes to his tournament play. He's often very, you know, he often doesn't GG. Like that's the most that it goes for. And then, hey, if the worst that you're doing is not GGing, then it's a pretty mannered event. Like it's still very tame. It's not like he's cursing players out or spamming them or anything like that. But this is probably the furthest that he's gone, is just straight up leaving a tournament because of the matchup. I said this before, but if this does become a trend, then we will probably suspend Percival. This is the first time that this has happened, so it's all good. Like, a warning is all that we would issue. But Again, if this becomes a more regular occurrence, then we would probably suspend Percival from our tournaments, if not ban him, if this were to become a more regular occurrence. But for now, it's the first time. It's the first time. Not too surprising given the kind of person that Percival is. But hopefully, it doesn't become a trend. Hopefully, he's able to get his emotions under control and calm down, Bobby. Calm down. Aye. As that leads us into the WardiTV Monday number 48. Here we have our next open tournament. Here we did have Hero. Hero, he takes down Showtime 2-1. Does get a walkover win over Shameless, and he 2-0s Max Packs. Oh, big win there for Hero. Very interesting considering that Max Packs has been adjusting his PvP as of late. I would have rated Max Packs a little bit higher here, so I'm really curious to see how that series panned out. Typically, we cast these tournaments, but this week we did not cast the WardiTV Monday because the Monday was postponed. This weekly tournament was postponed. It was held later in the day, so we were not able to cover this event, unfortunately. Meanwhile, we had Nightmare popping off. We were praising Nightmare earlier about his return, but this is his strongest showing. He did not have an easy road. This is crazy. Nightmare, he 2-1'd Rogue, he 2-0'd Byan, he 2-1'd Cure, and then went to the ace match against Hero. This is crazy. Like this is, remember, this is a Nightmare that's only been back for 2 weeks. Like Nightmare, he's only going to get better from here. So for him to 2-0 Byan, to beat Byan, Cure, Rogue, and force Hero to the ace match, this is impressive. And these are players, this is post EWC. Like these are not players that are out of shape. Like Byan, Cure, Rogue, Hero, they are not out of shape at all. So this is insane out of Nightmare. Okay, it's crazy. Now, what I will say is that this is crazy impressive. True, it's going to be more impressive if he can do this on a regular basis. Like, this is a one-time thing so far, but I will be keeping my eye open for Nightmare to see if he's able to replicate this success again. If he can do so again, then my opinion of Nightmare is going to get stronger and stronger moving forward here, because that was crazy. Nightmare, he may not have won the tournament, but he exceeded a lot of expectations, for sure. For sure. So crazy tournament here for Nightmare in WardiTV Monday. Very crazy, very impressive. That leads us into the, which I just realized was very Korean dominated. I do know this event was clashing with the next event. So I think that might also be why there was some forfeits. Yep, you can see Shameless, he forfeited in the WardiTV Monday. Because why? Because he was playing in the other tournament. So less European representation here, as because we had our other tournament. We have, hey, there's Clem. I love how that's crazy. Clem and Rainer, they chose to play in Roddy's tournament over Wardy's tournament. That's kind of crazy. Roddy's tournament being an all random tournament, being a lot more fun, of course. So here we had an all random tournament. We had a decent prize pool as well, not too great. Bear that in mind as well. So actually a smaller prize pool than the Wardy events, but a lot more fun nonetheless. A lot more laid back. We had Rainer popping off. Rainer takes down G Machine 2-0, takes down Clem 2-1, takes down Shameless 2-0, and takes down G Machine 2-0 as well. Again, this is why Shameless forfeited in the previous tournament, because he was playing in this tournament instead. He did have a decent performance, taking down Hacker as top, but fell to G Machine. G Machine, he knocked out Clem. Let's go. G Machine, he was the one that knocked out Clem to make it to the finals. In the end, Rainer, he is the most random of all players out there. He is our champion. He's our random champion. So congratulations to Rainer. And again, it's a little bit unfortunate that these events were overlapping. But as I mentioned, Wardy did decide to push his tournament back just because it was something else that was taking up his time in the morning. So because he was just unavailable earlier in the day, so did push it back, did clash with this event. So because that signups were, I'm sure, impacted for both tournaments. As that led us into this week's Pigsword Cup number 45. Unfortunately, this is an event that we weren't able to cover. I was very sick this week, and there was one day that we didn't cast. This was the day. So unfortunately, we did not cover this event. We had Byan. Byan takes down Mute 2-0, takes down Creator 3-0. It's Creator took down Nina. Nina has been a little bit more active as of late, so great to see the return of Nina. Hero takes down Rebellion, takes down Percival, and we had Hero versus Byan in the finals. Hero does claim the win. Shout out to Byan for taking a map. Hero, of course, has been in form as of late. Remember, he just beat Max Pax in the previous tournament and Nightmare as well. So Hero winning 2 back-to-back weeklies, the WardiTV Monday and the Pigsword Cup as well. Congratulations to Hero. No Max Packs this time. No Max Packs this week. Unfortunately, as that leads us into the WardiTV Summer Championship 2025. This is an ongoing major tournament. We already went over the group stage last week, I believe. Some of the groups. I believe we were actually in the middle of Group C last time. So middle of Group C. So now we have results. We have Shin, Creator, Bunny making it through. They were the favorite players. And if you remember, last time we didn't have a confirmed player for Group D. We were still waiting for an invite. Looks like they never got an invite. Looks like there was never a replacement. So Group D only had 4 players. A little bit of a feels bad man there, as Spirit, Solar, and Goblin make it out of Group D, and they make it into the next group stage, which is currently ongoing. So once again, currently ongoing. Let's go over some of these results here. As of a couple of days ago, Group A. Group A had Max, Cure, Rogue, and Creator. Ooh, a spicy group, to be honest. Max has been in form. So has Cure, and in the end, Max and Cure make it through. Rogue 2-0 Creator, Max 2-1 to Cure. Cure 3-2 Creator in best of 5. Cure did take Creator down. Oh, sorry, it's round robin. Oh. So for a moment, I thought it was GSL format. But round robin, Max takes down Rogue as well. Oh, wait, no, it is. Yeah, it is GSL format. Okay, my apologies. So it is GSL format, just with a mixture of best of 5s as well towards the end. So Max and Kyuju make it through. Meanwhile, we had Group B, Clem, Björn, Shin, and Goblin. Clem and Björn do advance on. Clem takes down Goblin 2-0 and Björn 3-0. So Clem doesn't drop a single map. Björn, he did drop maps to Shin, but still did beat him in the end to make it through into the next round. Congratulations. Meanwhile, Group C, we have Hero, Bunny, Zaun, and Solar. Ooh, this is a closer group, I would say. For the previous groups, there's maybe a bit of a clearer delineation between top 2 and the bottom 2. Here, Hero, Bunny, Zaun, and Solar. I would say this is probably the group of death. I would say that this group has players that are very, very close in skill. Here, Bunny takes down Zaun 2-1. Hero takes down Solar 2-0. Currently, Zaun and Solar are mid-series in a best of 5. And Zaun, he's up 2-0. He's about to 3-0 Solar. Oh my god. Okay, I was leaning more towards like Hero and Solar coming out of this group, but Solar might be eliminated soon. Hero is my pick for first place, but in second, is it going to be Solar, Zaun, or Bunny? Based on these results, I'm not feeling too hot on Solar right now. He is struggling a little bit. I know he's been taking a break post EWC. Meanwhile, when it comes to Zaun and Bunny, Bunny did just beat Zaun, but it was close. It's going to be a hard one to call. Bearing in mind that their next match, if they do face again, assuming the Hero would win, but the upcoming matches, the remaining matches are best of 5. Remaining matches are best of 5, so they're going to be longer series here. I'm going to go for the fan pick and say Hero and Bunny. Big Bunny fan, but I can see Zaun making it through as well. Harder ones are cool. Best of luck. Best of luck to all the players in Group C. Group D is going to be in 2 days. In 2 days' time, we have Group D. We have Classic, Spirit, Nightmare, and Percival. Classic going to be the heavy favorites in that tournament, or in that group, I should say. And based on previous results this week, I have to give it to Nightmare. I have to say that Classic and Nightmare are the top 2 players. I can see Percival causing an upset. I said it before for SEL, but I don't have a lot of faith in Spirit right now. He's been having a harder time. It does feel like he's been more on a break as of late, so best of luck to Spirit. He's going to need it. Best of luck to Percival as well. Hoping his emotions don't get to him in this event. But I lean towards Classic and Nightmare. The next time we have a podcast, we'll have all the results of this event, and likewise, we will have the results of the playoffs as well. The playoffs are this weekend. The playoffs are going to be this weekend, so next time you see us, we'll be there to report on the results. Best of luck. Best of luck to all the players involved for the WardiTV Summer Championship. As that wraps up the results for the week. Again, if you wish to sign up for some of these Open Cups, you can do so via our sign-up list. As you can see here, what is coming up next? Little League Cup is tomorrow. Little League Cup number 3 is tomorrow. We have KSL over the weekend. We have MSO over the weekend. We have Sunrise Cup, CSO Cup, STC, and many, many more tournaments. Again, they're all listed on the sign-up list. So if you are out there, if you happen to be interested in competing, even you don't have to be a pro player. A lot of these tournaments are open to all. Some of these events are MR restricted as well, so you might be eligible. You might have a better chance at having a deeper run as well, with a more competitive format with other players around your skill level. Regardless, consider playing. All these tournaments are open to all players, and again, it's sometimes a fun experience to sign up and to be pitted against someone like Hero or Björn and play against them. play against them as a fan. For sure. Something that we would often do as well in the past. So do consider checking out those signups. Likewise, if you want to support us here on the CranKy Ducklings, Patreon. Patreon is the place to be. Exclamation mark Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon is designed to fund our tournaments, to fund our open cups. So thank you so much to all of our supporters, to all of our patrons. You do gain benefits. You do gain replay packs as well. Replay packs that we have been catching up on, of course. We've been sending them out to our patrons, to our subscribers, and we have more replay packs to come. So thank you so much to all the supporters, and I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I do apologize for the stream going down earlier. For those that are maybe just now tuning in and looking at the time we've been live, and might be thinking, hold up, this was a short show. We were live previously. It's all one VOD on YouTube, but the Twitch VOD is cut up into like 3 or 4 at this point because it went up and down, up and down. So I do apologize, but again, if you want our VODs, YouTube is the place to be. It's all there. All of our VODs are on YouTube, uploaded on a daily basis. Again, on Twitch, they don't support VODs anymore, just as a heads up. And we went over quite a lot. We spent a lot of time with StarCraft Evolution and with this week's tournaments as well. So again, do check it out. Do check it out. If you have any recommendations for maybe events that we missed that you want us to cover, it's hard to keep up with everything, then let us know. When it comes to our next cast, as I mentioned before, this is like a bit of an announcement, I guess, is moving forward, we might be casting a little bit less. Typically, the CranKy Ducklings has kind of our motto, something that we harp on because it's true, is hey, we cast more StarCraft than any other channel out there. True, more StarCraft than Wardy, more StarCraft than Steadfast, more StarCraft than Pig, more StarCraft than anyone else. We have the content, we have the quantity, and we have a little bit of the quality. But that might be changing soon because I've just had less time to cast. I've had less time to cast as of late. Typically, we try to cast twice a day, every single day for the most part. We would have like 2 half days off. But in recent times, especially because I have some pet bunnies. I have some pet bunnies. You can see them in our Discord server. I've been sharing some images. Somehow, I've suddenly gotten 2 new pets, and they're quite young, and they're still growing, and they're amazing. They're beautiful. But I've been looking after them, of course. I've been spending time in kind of other aspects of my life as well. So I've had a little bit less time to cast, or I've been able to, but it's just so juggling casting twice a day alongside looking after new pets, alongside scheduling VODs, editing VODs, and working behind the scenes, like admitting tournaments as well. Like it's becoming a little bit too much to handle, and I don't know if I can keep that up. I'll do my best. As I mentioned before, I do want to at least try to cast all of the round of 16 of SEL. I want to try to at least do that, which would constitute 2 casts a day every day next week. But I can definitely see things slowing down moving forward to once a day, which is still, we're live daily for sure. We're still going to be live daily. That's going to be the minimum. But our casts might turn into once a day instead of twice a day. So I do apologize for those in other parts of the world. I know that we have, say, viewers in the Americas and Latin America that are really fond of our morning casts, and then we have casts at this time for our European viewers, and it is going to negatively impact viewership from the Americas, for example, that try to watch us live and maybe won't be able to as much anymore moving forward. So I do apologize for that. And because of that as well, if we start casting a little bit less, we have to be a little bit more selective as to what we do cast. We try to cast everything. We try to cast as much as we can. But now we're going to have to pick and choose. We've already been neglecting StarCraft Evolution a little bit and casting less StarCraft Evolution tournaments. Feels a little bit bad. Like it's a really fun game mode, and I do want to cover it whenever I can. But now moving forward, for example, like I've got a bunch of Brazilian tournament casts, right? Do I have the time for it though? Do we get the most amount of viewership for it though? The answer is no, right? For Brazilian only tournaments, which would be a shame as well if we were to be a little bit more selective and cut that out. Same with StarCraft Evolution, same with like modded tournaments, same with like Mid VK's tournaments, Sunny Lake Cup, right? I have access to those matches as well for Sunny Lake Cup, for other show matches, for Little League Cup show matches as well. Like there's a lot that we have access to, and at this point we probably have too much to cast. So we already did, but now even more so. So we'll see what happens moving forward. Again, we're still going to be live every single day, but maybe a little bit less than previously. It's going to be hard to cut out some of our casting, but Yeah, it's just too much StarCraft. It's too much, papi. It's too much. I can't do it all on my own, papi. Can't do it all. It's time for Kupo to cast more. Is that right, Kuro?
Huh? In between, like, doing everything else, the socials, the brackets,
Yes.
the calendars. Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds good. No.
I mean, ideally, we'd have other CranKy Ducklings able to step in. But of course, Yaku's now focused on his own IRL career. Milk, it's been a while since I've cast with Milk. I miss my
We
lechito.
have to.
But Milk.
I was gonna say we have to drag back Milk because he has started streaming lately, so clearly he has the time.
True. Like Milk has been busy with his own IRL career. Asher was busy with his IRL career, going back to studies, going back to uni. Like there's just been a lot less time from some of the other Ducklings out there to be able to dedicate to casting as much as we usually do. So yeah, that's just a bit of a PSA, a bit of a heads up moving forward for us here on the CranKy Ducklings. There are definitely things that we will still keep consistent, like PondCast, like STC, like Sparkling Tuna Cup, like eventually Tenacious Total Tussle, like MSO, SDO, like our tournaments. I'm going to try to prioritize like WardiTV Monday, Pegasus Cup, Little League Cup, the regular weeklies, but there are other more sporadic events that we might have to start saying no to. But we'll see. We'll see how we decide to adjust our schedule. We might even do it like where we cast twice a day every second day or something. Like something like that, Yeah, we'll see how we adjust. Yes, Tiomo. True. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you for the support. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys next week for the next podcast, or we'll see you potentially tomorrow for StarCraft Evolution League for one of the groups of the round of 28, or at least Little League Cup tomorrow. So one or the other, either Little League Cup tomorrow or some StarCraft Evolution. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you for the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much to Kuro as well for handling the production side of things, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.